I do have a daughter that is in school, and next year another one will be going, following year after that, because child, I had one after the other, but that's another story for another time. But hey mommies, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new here, welcome. This is the Mommy Chats Unfiltered podcast. I am Shama of Mommies with Purpose. You already know, out here in these streets, bridging the gap between mommies and their purpose all day, every day. And again, if you love this brand, if you love this channel, go ahead and subscribe. Press that subscribe button and the little bell so that you don't miss a single episode. But today, I wanted to talk to you about something a little bit more serious. And on this episode today, we are focusing on parenting and injustice. This is something that I felt like I wanted to address because, again, this time last year, we kind of faced a similar scenario, the murder of George Floyd, which still to this day plays a huge impact on our community. And recently, we still have several things going on right now in our society that, sometimes it could cause us to question, everything around us and how we operate, especially as mothers in our purpose, to be honest with you. At the time, I only had, content circled around Daunte Wright. But now we also have another situation with a beautiful young lady who lost her life in the middle of an altercation. I didn't want to talk to you today because this is a safe haven for mommies, and I said that since the beginning, and I want this to be a free space for us to be able to be honest about how we feel, what we're going through, what we're doing. And before we move any further, just like I need a breath, I do believe that you probably need a breath as well. So let's go ahead and exercise that today. Inhale, exhale, inhale again, and exhale. Sometimes we just need a moment to breathe. And around this time last year, I posted a picture, and it was a sign of me saying, for all of the moms out there who fear the love that the world displays to our children. And even with learning the death of Daunte Wright, learning of, things that happened in the past, that's been going on for years now. And then also going back to George Floyd, and even up to the most recent things that some that we don't even know about, some that didn't hit the media like the rest of these other situations have. No matter where you are in your journey of motherhood, even pending, I think there's something big to understand and see in this situation. When I posted that picture, underneath in my caption, I explained, no matter where you are in your motherhood, whether you're white, black, Asian, or, got one kid, two kids, or you're girl mom, boy mom, I said in that picture that there's one common denominator for all mothers in this aspect. And that aspect is that we all have to face the fact that the love that we show our children, the love that we display in our home to our children is going to look and feel completely different than when they step outside of those doors. We may raise our children in a loving home, in a home that empowers mental health, that empowers emotional stability. We may raise our children in homes where, we want them to be emotionally aware. We want them to be aware of mental health. We want them to be aware of how to express themselves when they go out and interact with people and create community around with their friends and other family members or people that may not look like them. We want to be able to implement so many things in our parenthood so that when we send our child out, they are prepared. But sometimes we forget that, these are the ugly truths that they also have to face. I know it was hard for me. I never really spoke about injustice and the color of your skin and how some people may like it and some people may not to my children. But I understood in that moment that it was imperative that we spoke about those things at that time, because I do have a daughter that is in school, and next year another one will be going, following year after that, because child, I had one after the other, but that's another story for another time. But yes, I have these children that I have to address these things because I don't want my children to go in as blind as I had went at the time. But we all face this common denominator. We have to face the fact that it looks completely different. And if I say nothing to you today that really triggers or shakes you, mom, the number one thing that I want to get out to you today is that I want you to be and stay encouraged. Be encouraged and stay encouraged. And I have two reasons why it's imperative for you to stay and be encouraged. The first reason why we should be and stay encouraged is because it starts with us. Let's be completely honest. Everything that happens start with us as parents. You know, yeah, you can't control a lot of decisions that our children make when they get older. But, you know, there's a quote out there that says, be the change that you want to see. And I feel like as mothers, as parents, we have an opportunity that most people don't get. We have an opportunity that most people don't take advantage of. It's not only that we can be the change that we want to see, but we can raise the change that we want to see with our children. We can raise our children to be the love that the world needs. We can raise our children to be the encourager that the world needs. We can raise our children to be the light that the world needs, the purpose-filled motivator. We can raise them to be these people. We can raise them to be the next generation of cops that really show love and affection and show brotherly, sisterly love, as if it was your mom, as if it was your dad that you were arresting at the time, your brother, your sister, your aunt, your cousin, your uncle, whoever. We can raise them to be that love. We can also raise them to feed the homeless. We can also raise them to not leave people behind, to not compete with other people, but also to raise them up and empower them, walk side by side and do life with people so that they can be able to see better and greater in themselves. We can do that. So it starts with us. It starts with us understanding that and keeping that at the forefront of our mind, so that every time when things like this happen, we don't feel discouraged or we don't feel like taken over by the situation, but rather we take advantage of it. And we stand in front of it and say, this is the scenario, but this is what we can do as a family to make the world a better place. The second and most imperative reason that we should really stay and be encouraged is because if we give up, we leave it to the world. We leave it to the world. And like said before, we don't know what kind of love, what kind of affection, what kind of support the world is going to leave up to our children, because we don't know, depending on the color of their skin, their ethnicity, the way that they move, the way that they operate. We don't know what the world is going to show them. We don't know what type of interactions they're going to have day to day. So if I give up as a mom and I feel discouraged and I don't take advantage of these opportunities to inform my children and raise my children up, I'm leaving it up to the world. And the issue with that is we have no control over what they're going to get. We have no control over how they're going to operate, how they're going to digest all of this information. I know for me as a child, I have faced a lot of trauma that I want to be able to share with you guys, so that you can understand that when I think about purpose, when I operate in purpose, it's not because I'm just want to be something out here in these streets. No, it's because I've been through some stuff that made me feel less than, that made me feel like I didn't have a voice, that made me feel like I couldn't do certain things. And that for a certain point in time in my life, I really agreed with it. I listened to that little voice. I kept feeding myself the trauma. I kept repeating the cycle over and over again. But then eventually something happened. And I made a decision. I made a decision that I was not going to allow what happened to me or the things that I've experienced to hold me down. And yeah, I may slip up. Yeah, I may have some moments of opportunity. But overall, I would never give up the courage. I would never give up the courage of being better and raising my children better and empowering and pushing my family forth because of what has happened. Because I will have no control over how my children will be able to digest that situation. You never know what kind of trauma triggers certain things. So why not us keep that at the forefront? Why not us push? And why not us empower? Why don't we just be able to continue to do the good works that we already are doing as mothers? In face of injustice, in face of whatever that may come. The hope and the goal of this whole entire podcast episode is really to encourage you to be and stay encouraged. I know it's hard. It took me a couple of days before I could actually address the situation straight up, because it was hard to swallow. Once I seen the hashtag created, I already knew what it was, and I already felt what I was going to feel again. Not to mention, it was practically the same time last year that we faced one of the most biggest injustice we ever faced in a while. But I knew that I had to be confronted. I knew that it's something that I had to swallow. And, we live in a society where they think it's okay for us to continue to digest this thing. It gets harder and harder. It doesn't get easier. but I did want us to be able to put our best foot forward so that we can face these issues and face these things head on. You know, and mommies, that's all I have for you for today. I know it's a bit on a serious note. You could go ahead and let your booty loose, child. If you was feeling a little bit tense, drop your shoulders, you know, whatever the case may be. I know it's a little bit harder today to hear this episode, but again, this is a safe haven and this is a platform we're going to talk about everything. And I had something scheduled for today, but listen, sometimes we have to take a moment and pause and put some things of importance at the forefront. And that's one of these episodes, but it's okay. Y'all can go ahead and check me out next time where I bring you something brand spanking new. And you already know, again, if you love this channel, if you love this brand, please go ahead, subscribe, like, share, comment, share with another mommy so we can grow this brand. And ultimately, I just want to be able to grow this thing organically, man. Like, that's the only way we're going to continue to win. But nonetheless, go ahead and have a great week and be the mom with purpose in the face of adversity. All right, have a great one.